Hello and welcome, I'm Mono and this is another map breakdown. This time I'll be talking about Utah Beach. Now this I think is one of the best maps in the game. It got reworked for update 9 with some changes especially to the German side, which is a bit of more open fields than this. And overall I think it's great. It does have a major flaw though, and I'll be going over that in detail, and that is the barbed wire. Now the barbed wire got changed in update 9. You used to be able to go through it with no problem. Now in update 9 you cannot go through it. You can't even jump over it or anything, and you cannot destroy this environmental barbed wire, the one that's already in the map. And that creates a major problem, because some of the strong points in the midsection are basically impossible to take back from a competent team if they manage to build some defenses. Alright, so I'll be going over this as usual with the admin cam right here and also using Strat Sketch. So let's hop onto Strat Sketch right now and I'll show you the different possible points that you can get in this map. So here we go. These are the 15 possible locations that you can get in Utah Beach. The best point to get in the middle right now is Chapel, because that is just a fantastic spot to fight over with some very different terrain around it, which I think it's just a really good point to fight over. WN4 right here at the north and WN7 at the south. You can see all this barbed wire in red right here, and these are the spots. Oh, sorry about that. These are the spots that you can go across on WN4. If you manage to put some barbed wire in those points, then the enemy team will have a hell of a difficult time trying to get into the point. I'll show you that in game right now. So as I was saying, WN4 is completely surrounded by barbed wire. You can see there's absolutely no way across from the street there. You can obviously go through the street, there's no barbed wire there, but if you go down south towards the Allied towards the Allied side, there is no way to get in except for a spot right there and a spot right there. And again, if you're Axis and you manage to take control of WN4 and secure those areas with your own barbed wire, the only way the team is going to be able to push through is with a vehicle or by putting a satchel charge. And to put a satchel charge right here, let me tell you, you're going to be very exposed. And it's even worse on the Axis side, because on the Axis side, you have a lot more open ground. There's a few more spots that you can go through. There's one there, one right here in front of this building, and I believe one here. No. Oh, okay. So that's it. And there's one, yeah, right here. There's a crater right there. So those are the spots that you can go through with your infantry. Now, again, if you barbed wire this, if you put some defenses, maybe put a bunker right there, there's absolutely no way the enemy team is going to be able to cap this point back from you if your team is at all decent. I've seen this map, get played in competitive matches, and that's the way it's gone every single time. Whoever caps the middle point, yeah, that's GG, guys. Alright, so in this area, this is a great spot to put a garrison. These buildings right here, you can put some garrisons and some defenses. A great thing to do is maybe put a garrison, around there, and put some, if you're German, put some Belgian gates blocking these entrances. It's gonna make it really hard for tanks to be able to shoot inside the building and destroy that garrison or destroy your OPs and nodes and stuff. Great defensive location, and also fantastic location to put a red zone garrison if you are trying to cap Chapel away from the enemy. Chapel, as you can see, is right there. So let's talk about Chapel right now. Putting a garrison on WN4 is good. Putting a garrison right here is maybe even better. Whether you're defending or attacking as a red zone, this is a great spot. That's also a great spot inside this compound right here. This is a bit more exposed. If there's somebody on church, maybe they can see you spawn here, or maybe they can shoot a rocket from that blown off section that you can see on the side. And as Axis, you have this trench line right here, which you can go across basically no problem as infantry. You can go across this area relatively hidden. If you crouch down, you will be able to basically hide yourself from anyone except from people that are standing straight in front of you. Now, assaulting from here, you're gonna need a lot of smoke. The best way, I think, to assault Chapel is from the south or from this northern side. This northern side, you can go across here. Again, there's some hedgerows you can hide behind. Maybe you can get a garrison around here in order to attack, maybe in that location, and launch an offensive around here, because it's kind of hard for the people at Chapel to defend from this area and also defend from the front at the same time. Now, the Allied, on their push to Chapel, are gonna have either a garrison here on Hill 5, or a garrison behind this house, or a garrison right here. These are the three main locations for attacking garrisons for Chapel. And now let's go over to that south side, and then we'll switch over to Strat Sketch for some line drawing. All right, this south side, you have a smallish town around here, and I've done a clip recently on this house right here. This 3-story house is absolutely crucial because it provides, let's see if I have the clip on. I do. Let's turn that off. There we go. They provide some absolutely crucial vantage points onto the Chapel defenses, onto whoever's controlling Chapel from these windows. On the second story as well, you can get some great shots in. There's some, you can also shoot the trenches right there to the right side. So overall, controlling this house, gaining control of this house is gonna be absolutely great for you to be able to cap and control Chapel. The other building that's really significant is this building right here, and basically this entire area. Again, we'll see this in Strat Sketch in a second. All right, so if you're attacking Chapel, you might be able to get a red zone garrison around, you know, this area, maybe around here or around here. Most people are going to build a garrison on Le Grand Creek to be able to attack Chapel, but also remember these hedgerows around this area and this area right here are also great avenues to attack Chapel, because you can go all the way here, take control of that northern house, and then go to Chapel. I forgot to mention on WN4, if you're allied, there's a spot right here where you can build a garrison that's gonna work really great because you're already inside the barbed wire, and there's a house right here which provides some defense. This is a really good area to put down an attacking garrison instead of just putting it around, you know, this location right here. All right, moving on to Chapel. As I mentioned, these areas are great for garrisons. There's also some big bushes here. You can really hide a garrison inside there, and it's going to be extremely hard for anyone to see unless they catch, you know, a big spawn point, and they see, you know, 20 people jump into that area. That's, you know, gonna be obvious that there's a garrison there, but otherwise it's a really good zone to control. This is the 3-story house I was talking about earlier. This is the house up north where you can also place a garrison. And remember, the capping sectors for these four are, these are the ones for WN4, these are the ones for Chapel, and these are the ones for WN7. So for Chapel, you want to control the south side of Chapel because that's going to weigh your soldiers in on the cap sector if you're like around this area right here and controlling, you know, the Chapel as well. Maybe have some infantry around there. That's how you're going to be able to secure Chapel, because again, something you see very, very often is people just defending from inside the strong point like this, and then they get overwhelmed by the enemy, which is coming from all locations. All right, so you don't want to do that anywhere, ever. All right, now let's talk about WN7, and that is one of the most heavily fortified positions in the entire game, and one that you can absolutely go nuts with some building. I've moved past it. Where is it? can't find it. There it is. It's sometimes really hard to find things using the admin cam. So this is WN7. As you can see, a whole lot of barbed wire. There's one spot right there you can cross from, coming in from the Axis side. You can also go around this area right here, but that's going to leave you obviously extremely exposed. So same goes for the Allied side. There's a couple of spots right here. You can go across the barbed wire through here as Allied and get in the middle over there. Now, all of this is extremely hard to push if anyone has managed to build some defenses. If you get some barbed wire coming across here, you won't be able to get across here without a satchel. If you put some Belgian gates there, no tank is going to be able to come through. If you put a Belgian gate here, one thing that I actually like to do is put a Belgian gate here. That's going to get any tanks to have to go all the way around and get into a much less powerful defensive position to shoot from. And you can put some barbed wire around this area, as well as some Belgian gates right here. And I see people doing this constantly wrong, putting barbed wire in this location. You do not want to put barbed wire there. You want to put a Belgian gate. And if you put barbed wire, you're not going to be able to build the Belgian gate. So build the Belgian gate before you put down the barbed wire. Barbed wire is going to become irrelevant anyway, because with the Belgian gate put properly, there's absolutely no way for the allies to jump across. Speaking of which, you can jump across this wall right here, and not a lot of people know this. So even if the thing is like completely encased in fences and Belgian gates and stuff, you can still jump across there, pop some smoke maybe on the other side first, so you can jump across, get inside these trenches and hit that house with a rocket, or, you know, basically take control of the area that way. Ideally, get a garrison inside a bunker if you're German. If you're Allied, you are gonna have to rebuild that garrison a whole lot of times, because any enemy bombing run, you know, the spots for a garrison here are not very awesome. You can have one right here behind the house, or you can have one around there or around here. But in any case, they are gonna get destroyed with a bombing run. So make sure you have additional supplies to be able to get that garrison back up as soon as it's destroyed. For the OPs, you want to put them inside the trenches as much as possible, or inside buildings like these. That will, you know, kind of protect against artillery and also bombing runs. Now, another thing to mention at about WN7 is this area around here. This is going to see a lot of action from enemy airheads. You can drop an enemy airhead, as allies, you can drop an airhead here, maybe get a red zone garrison right around this section right here, and launch an attack from this area as well as the front onto WN7. This area right here is something that you really want to control. If you're defending WN7, you want to have a garrison maybe around here somewhere, around the town. You do not want to neglect this northern side, because again, that is capable sectors for WN7, and you want to make sure you control them. These buildings are awesome, though a lot of people will build a garrison or OPs inside here. So if you're in a tank, shoot the walls right here, and that should take care of any enemy garrisons or OPs that might be here. These buildings provide great fire against the allies, you know, sneaking into WN7 from that open field. And also, you know, if you're Allied and you want to push through the trenches, it's really good to control these buildings first and then start your push along here. A bit more about the defenses here on WN7. If you manage to put barbed wire here, you are gonna force whoever's coming down from the road to go all the way around. You're probably not gonna be able to encase the whole area in barbed wire, which would be really good. But basically, the allies, their only avenue of attack from the south side is along this fence, which does provide some cover. You can see there's some bushes and stuff, but you can absolutely get wrecked from MGs situated on those two buildings I was talking about earlier. There's some decent cover, But the last part, you're gonna have to advance with a whole lot of smoke and a ton of luck. Because good luck getting through this entire field with the Germans defending WN7 from the inside. So now let's go over to strat sketch, and as I mentioned, you want to put some garrisons around, maybe this area right here, one on WN7. The houses are not marked on the map for some reason, I think, but you can get a garrison right there, or maybe even forgo that garrison and get one right on the border in case the enemy somehow manages to take WN7, you can take it right back. The other garrison, great location right there, but you also, when I'm playing WN7 as either side, I also try and put some garrisons around there and defend this entire area from flanks, because flanking around this position is quite strong. You can get some really good angles on the house if you're in a tank, or maybe even build an AT gun. So if you control this area, you can place maybe, an AT gun here and shoot at those windows. You're not going to be able to shoot at all of them maybe, but who knows? You might get lucky, and if your squad leader is helping you with some bino spotting, you can maybe get some shots without them even seeing the AT gun. Alright, so that's it for the middle section of this map, but now let's move on to the river that goes along this entire area. Now the problem with this river, if your axis, is you do not want to get your supply truck stuck in the middle when you're trying to get to Chapel or to any other location. Thankfully, there's a couple of spots where you can get your truck out of the water if you happen to get it inside the river. Just go, keep driving and search for these areas right here. You can get through there. And if you keep going, there's a whole lot more. There's one that right there that's not gonna really take you anywhere. There's one right here. And this is pretty much the case for this entire area. So feel free to jump into the river with your tank. If you kind of know this area, again, you can get through there. This is one of the backsides. Again, you can go across entirely from side to side right here. And there's like a ton of locations that you can go and get yourself off the river. There's a great one right here, a great avenue. You want to mine these maybe if you're playing as AT with a mine loadout. You want to mine these areas because that's going to make sure you get some tanks destroyed when they try and cross. Now, especially recon tanks. Sunken Bridge is one of my favorite spots right here. Again, pretty good defensive position here. You can get a garrison or some OPs in this area, which I'm going to show you now. This right here, you can get something right there, and that's gonna make it really hard for the enemy to spot your attack location, and you can get really a close OP that's great for attacking. That's what you want. So yeah, now looking at strat sketch, this area for the Germans, that's open ground, hedgerows, really good. A lot of people don't think that they can place garrisons around these areas because it's so open, but it's actually not bad at all, because there's a lot of hedgerows and a lot of like large trees and bushes where you can definitely hide some garrisons in order to secure and defend Sunken Bridge. Because obviously you want to have a garrison on this sector, but also garrisons around these three, to be able to secure and defend Sunken Bridge from enemy attacks. Because if you only have this garrison right there, you are gonna get destroyed by the enemy controlling all of this outside area. A bit more about the Allied side is that all of this is trenches and trench lines, which are great for camping the actual Allied HQ spawns. If you're a sniper, you can basically negate their arty from basically anywhere around this area on Red Roof House. WN5. Okay, lastly, all of these Terra Green, Red Roof House, and Uncle Red, all of these areas are, fairly similar in terms of how you want to approach them as the attacker, as the Axis. And that is that you want to flank and take control of the trenches right here and, get some attacks on each of the flanks. And same goes for Uncle Red. you want to take control of the trench line around here, as well as pushing from here, and same goes for Terra Green. And that's basically it, guys. I don't want to make the video any longer than it already is, so that's going to be it for today. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them down in the comment section. And as always, thank you for watching, and I hope I will catch you in the next one.